evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 26th of July 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The British ambassador to our country, Duncan Norman, visited the city of Shkodra today, where he praised its resources and the beauty of the city. Judicial reform, strengthened relations with the Western Balkans and the involvement of Albanian people in the drug market were among the concerns expressed by the British ambassador. The British ambassador stated that the legal changes and vetting must be implemented. Mr. Norman considered vetting to be the biggest test of Albanian politics. I have recently seen important developments in Albania. Parliamentary elections were successfully concluded and the new government is expected to be formed in September. The judicial reform is very important for the country. We are satisfied with the legislation, but the changes of the law is not enough. We want to see the right implementation of the changed laws and of vetting. The aim of the reform is an efficient and fair justice system, declared the ambassador, adding that what Britain wants is to strengthen relations with the Western Balkans. The ambassador gave assurance that Brexit is an exit from the European Union, but not from Europe itself. Britain is leaving the European Union, but not Europe. Relations with the Western Balkan countries will further deepen. This year, our embassy in Tirana will be doubling its staff. The aim is that we are working closely with the Albanian government against organised crime. Next year, the Summit of the Western Balkans will be held in London, declared Mr. Norman. The direct inclusion of Albanian citizens in the cocaine market remains an issue of great concern, with the British ambassador declaring, "Albanian migrants in Britain are a bridge of friendship between the two countries. They do play an important role in the relation of the two countries. But there are also negative things, such as the ties with organised crime. Cocaine remains a concern as a major part of the market is administered by Albanian people. This is an issue for which we are cooperating with the Albanian government in order to fight against it." Foreign Minister Ilir Meta today received the Deputy Prime Minister for Judicial Reform and the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Bulgaria, Ekaterina Zaharieva, who is on an official visit to our country. In 2018, Bulgaria will head the presidency of the European Union, and one of its main priorities is the enlargement of the Union, including the countries of the Western Balkans. In a press conference after the meeting, Foreign Minister Bushati highlighted the need to intensify the relation between the countries. The priorities of the Bulgarian presidency are important for the enlargement process and for the Western Balkan countries. There is a good cooperation between Albania and Bulgaria in NATO and also a good cooperation in the fight against violent extremism, declared Bushati. On her part, the Bulgarian diplomat encouraged the Albanian government to continue with the judicial reform and other state-building reforms as the only path towards the EU membership. We praise the efforts for the judicial reform and the fight against organised crime. I am convinced that you will make progress by the end of the year. By the time Bulgaria takes on the presidency of the European Union, we should be able to work together over this matter and make a decision for the opening of the negotiation process, declared the Bulgarian diplomat. Earlier today, the Deputy Prime Minister for Judicial Reform and Foreign Minister of Bulgaria, Zaharieva, also attended a meeting with President Ilir Meta. Together, they shared the same viewpoints over the importance of the judicial reform and its implementation as an important step towards strengthening the institutions. The Central Election Commission certified today the final results of the June 25 parliamentary election, where 46.77% of the voters were in attendance. Unanimously voting with 7 in favour and 0 against, the Central Election Commission members approved the summary table of results and the distribution of seats based on the cities. Today's CEC decision concludes a rather complex election process due to the political circumstances in the country. These brought changes to the law on political parties and the criminal code of the Republic of Albania only a few days before the election date. This caused difficulties for the CEC ahead of the election and added the challenge of a limited time to adopt the legal acts and to prepare the electoral infrastructure, said a CEC spokeswoman. The meeting of the Central Election Commission was held amid debates between the opposition and majority members as the opposition members of the Commission contested the election result. The Democratic Party's legal representative stated that the citizens' votes were bought with money coming from drugs. The June 25 elections were a result of illegality and of money coming from drugs, a result of state pressure from state institutions and gangs. Votes were massively bought in every village. They invested so much euro in order to buy the votes that the value of the euro declined in such a way that it concerned the Bank of Albania, declared the DP's representative. The opposition's accusations were rejected by the Socialist Party's representative, who considered them to be a political farce in order to justify the election result. The Albanian government did not use any of its assets for the electoral campaign. The Prime Minister gave almost half of the state offices and the most important ones to the opposition. The opposition had control over the electoral process. These are merely political statements in an attempt to justify the loss, the SP's representative declared. Democratic Party Chairman Ilir Basha held a meeting today with the newly elected Democrat MPs. Speaking after the meeting, the DP chairman made an invitation to the opposition parties, saying that the Democratic Party is ready to cooperate with anyone who is ready to form the opposition the country needs. When asked if he also welcomes the Socialist Movement for Integration, Mr. Basha replied, "We welcome anyone who is ready to make opposition and not bargains. The opposition is full-time, not part-time. It functions in opposition full-time, not sometimes in opposition and sometimes bargaining." The DP chairman spoke of a frontal opposition which will make no compromises and will denounce all policies that make citizens' lives more difficult. The Democratic Party is prepared to be a strong opposition without compromising with Edi Rama or his government. Nothing unites us with him, neither our vision nor our values. We will make a strong opposition that starts from direct contact with the citizens. My only advice for Democrat MPs is to have continuous contact with the citizens, said Basha. He then went on to clarify that the provisional ministers who were appointed following the political agreement he reached with the Prime Minister on May 18 will soon be removed. The DP chairman said that the ministers are currently concluding their reports on the elections and once completed, they will resign. The Democratic Party and its structures will make a deep analysis for the June 25 election results in order to become the strong opposition that it pledges to be for returning hope to the Albanian people. The Albanian Parliament has asked the Central Election Commission to substitute the vacancy left by President Ilir Meta, who handed over his mandate before being sworn in as president. According to the procedure, the mandate shall go to the next on the list of the Socialist Movement for Integration's MPs in Tirana, who is Ilir Meta. However, a few days ago, Mr. Meta declared during an interview with Ora News that he will refuse the mandate. Mr. Meta confirmed the same thing today in a status he posted on his social media account. The former Minister of Justice's post on his Facebook read, "As I have previously declared, politics can be made even without being a Member of Parliament. I am not interested in participating in a dead Parliament." Given Ilir Meta's refusal, the mandate will go to Ardit Cela, who is the fifth in the list of MPs for the SMI in Tirana. Ahead of the City Council's meeting, Tirana's Mayor, Erion Veliaj, expressed his confidence that the City Council will pave the way for the major investments to guarantee access to drinking water 24 hours per day. The Mayor declared that the business plan, drafted with the help of US aid, aims to realise the necessary investments in the water network required to avoid emergency situations. According to the Mayor, this plan will guarantee 24-hour access to water across the city. The business plan by City Hall and the water company to strengthen the water network will bring water for 24 hours within 5 years. This is a guarantee for a Tirana with no water deposits stored in apartment buildings, which in fact risks citizens' lives. Let's live in a city where we can have water for 24 hours and we are not afraid that the water deposit can fall from the ceiling. This needs bold decisions, which I am ready to make, and I can't wait for the members of the Council to make these bold decisions with me and for us to provide the citizens with 24-hour access to water. Mr. Veliaj also thanked the citizens for their understanding during these difficult days of drought due to hot weather. The Civil Emergency Service have reported that 18 fires have erupted in the past 24 hours across different areas of the country, including Shkodër, Gjirokasta, Elbasan, Tirana, Korç, Durrës, Berat, Vlorë and Fier. About 130 firefighting teams have been battling the blazes, assisted by 18 vehicles, volunteer teams, military forces and helicopters. The civil emergency specialists continue to keep the situation under constant monitoring throughout the country, with the danger of fire persisting due to the hot weather. The Civil Emergency Service reiterated its appeal for citizens to call emergency phone numbers if they see any signs of fire. According to the Civil Emergency Service, 8 hectares of bushes and pasture were burned in Shkodrës areas, 3 hectares of bushes were burned in Tirana, and 1.5 hectares of bushes were burned in Elbasan. Around 100 olive trees were burned in Durrës and Berat. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.